Hey guys, I'm Mark,
I'm Alen.
and welcome to another episode of The Next Man Up. Hey Alen, good to see you again, or at least talk to you, my friend.
What's up, Mark? We have to stop meeting like this.
You know that could be taken the wrong way, of course, right?
Yeah, right.
I think what you mean to say is we got to get back in the studio together soon and do this face to face.
Oh, and if anybody thought differently, then shame on you people. Shame. Yeah, man. It's been at school, and this past weekend, actually, I was over near, Heartland Retreat Center.
Okay.
I think it was called. Yeah. Did a conference out there. So it's good to be in town and talking.
Yeah.
Rocking and rolling.
Well, good for you.
What have you been doing?
Oh, little this, little that. I've got a handful of speaking engagements that are on the horizon. Some Next Man Up related, some coaching related, some I'm not sure exactly how they fit, but looking forward to it. So it's captured my attention and time, and it's there's the preparation and the anticipation and all of that. So that's where I've been spending a lot of my time these days. So it's all good, man.
Nice.
It's a good adventure to be on.
Nice. So, dude, man, I feel like you have something that we're going to talk about that's probably touchy.
Yeah, this topic could be interesting. We'll see. Okay. There's a lot to it, and we'll see where it goes. But I guess I've been captured by various headlines and articles that come across my attention, and this is no different. So the title of this article is "Women Cheer as Swedish Man-Free Music Festival Opens." And of course, as soon as I saw the headline, I'm like, okay, I've got to read it. I'm curious now. They got me with the hook. The marketing worked. The title worked. It got me to click, right? And so I opened this article, which I know you have seen, and I was struck really initially by how this Me Too movement in the United States has now cascaded across the borders and into other countries, and really this is the effect of women in the United States saying enough is enough. We're pushing back. We've had enough of this stupid man behavior, and we're not going to take it anymore. And this is an example of what some women in Sweden have decided to do.
Yeah, man, that's great. Like, that's my first reaction is good. Like it and I read it, and the word the phrase that stuck out to me was, it felt like a safe zone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, man, it was like awesome. Like, that the women there felt like, yeah, I'm safe. But at the same time, like, there was a heartbreak when I read it as well, which was like, man, dude, what are we doing, guys?
Right.
Like, we're driving the women of the world, like, apart from us. And like, is this what it takes for a woman to feel safe in a world where they share with men? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is not just let's have a girls' night out kind of deal, or a guys' night out kind of deal. Like, it's not that. It's not a gender saying let's have a night out and let's let our hair down and do our thing. That's not what these women were saying. They're saying, like, we wanted to have a moment where we could feel safe, And that means that we would have to have no men there.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It is
that's
sad. It's really sad. Yeah. So I don't know much about Sweden and their culture and their music festival, but apparently their largest festival, which is called the Bravalla Festival, last year they had 4 rape and 23 sexual assault reports to the police. And so as a result of
that's the one reported.
Yeah.
Those are the ones reported.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. That's a good point. So as a result of that, this year's festival was canceled. So this big festival that they've had in the past has been canceled. And so a handful of prominent women, I think probably performers as well as producers or other people instrumental in making things happen with a following and a voice said, well, what about let's just do our own? And that's where you get to this idea, this quote of this place feels like a safe zone where women can just get together and have fun and celebrate, and especially in the light of the assaults that have happened last year. That was from a 34-year-old performer who was there. So I'm with you, man. Like what is wrong with the men in this world that we've pushed it so far to the point where women say, well, we're going to do our own thing so that we don't have to feel this tension, this threat of sexual aggression or sexual violence anymore. Yeah. And we're going to do it without you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to hear as a guy, to be honest with you.
It is.
That's hard to hear as a husband. That's hard to hear as a father. That's hard to hear as a brother who has sisters. That's hard to hear as a man who shares this world with women. Like, man, like I almost want, my heart repents. Like, if you get, like, seriously, when I read it, I was like, oh man, on behalf of all men, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you, and the thing, I don't know if you read this part, but they raised what would be equivalent to $54,000.
Yeah. Yep.
Through crowdfunding. Like, it was like, I'm so sorry that you had to raise $54,000. Someone had to put in the blood, sweat, and tears. People had to put in the blood, sweat, and tears to raise this money and create this space so that way, like, you as a female could feel okay. Like, breaks my heart, man.
It shouldn't have to be that way.
No, it shouldn't have to be that way. And fellas, this is proof we got to do better. We got to do better. That's just it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. You know, the word that comes to my mind is I'm embarrassed.
Yeah,
I'm embarrassed that my gender, as I often joke, my species has not been representing well and has not held up our end of the bargain. And you know, this is a sexual example. There are many other examples where men have abused power and control. It's embarrassing and it's unfortunate. And to your point, it's time for things to change.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And like, it's like, you know, and I know for some people who may be listening, you know, it's kind of like, well, I don't do those things. I treat women fairly, and I know I share a planet with women, and I don't try to be above them. I don't try to abuse my power over people who may be working for me or whatever. Like, and you're like, you know, me, you know, it's almost like, no, I treat women great. Mm-hmm. So this doesn't have to deal with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I think we may want to reconsider that. Like, look, like, I think we as males, I'm saying we need to do better as a whole, not just individually, but as a whole.
Yeah.
The way I'm thinking about this is like these are my daughters. This is my representing my wife. This is representing my moms. This is representing my sisters. This is representing my aunts. You know what I mean? This is representing my female friends and coworkers and such. Like, we just got to do better. So the question, I guess, is what does it look like for us to do better? Some practical things, even for those who feel like, no, I'm not going out raping women, and I'm not going out there and abusing power and sexually harassing women. I'm not doing that. But like, okay, well, if you're not doing that per se, like, is there something else you could be doing?
Yeah.
Like maybe, like, then the first thing I think that comes to mind is like, are you helping to elevate women in any way? Like, from the office jokes to are you hiring someone based off of like their skill, or are you hiring someone based off of like not only your skill, but like you're saying, oh, you know what, you're a guy, you can handle this more than a woman can.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
are you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, is there, I think we need to think in practical terms of that way. You know, women are strong. Women are powerful, man. I'm sorry. I look my wife in the eye and I say, babe, you are so, there's moments where I look her in the eye and I go, you are so much stronger than I am in this area. And we have to be able to even like say even little things, like we think it's little, but it's not little. Those are encouraging words because they're true. Like, there's some things that I'm just, my wife goes, yeah, Alon, you handle this. You take the lead in this because I know you're strong in this area. But there's areas where I go, honey, no, sweetheart, Shannon, you take the lead in this because I know that you are stronger in this area.
Yeah.
And we have to be able to do practical things like that for us to show and not only show, but really let the women around us understand that we believe, like, they're not beneath men. They're not unequal. Like, there's not a place for them in this world at all. Like, no, dude, this is the planet that we share, and we got to uplift each other. We got to encourage each other, and we got to build each other up. And we got to stand up for each other, man. You know, and I think we could do that not in just these big campaigning ways, but in small little ways, in practical ways, man.
Yeah.
And such. And so that would be my challenge for those listening who are probably saying like, no, that's not me. Like, no, we're male. So we're part of the male community of this world, and we could do better. And there's practical things that we could do as well.
Yeah.
Not just these big campaigning deals.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I am with you in that example. I'm going to take a different perspective and say, as fathers, we have an obligation and a responsibility to point out these things that are wrong in culture and society and treatment of women, as well as others that are marginalized or in the minority, if you will. We have an obligation and a responsibility to teach our boys to do better. That the bar is not the cultural expression of manhood. The bar is set so much higher, and teaching our sons that to recognize when there's a wrong, to right the wrong, to avoid the wrong in themselves. Whether it's the jokes or whether it's the locker room or the objectification of women, perceiving others as property or resources or assets to be consumed and used. Like, no, we need to teach our boys to do it different, even if that means do it different than we've done. You know, I'm thinking back in my own life of examples and stories where even in thinking that I had things figured out, I say things or I do things and then look back on that and think, boy, that was pretty stupid. And it was not very affirming of, I'm thinking of one in particular, it was just not very affirming of women. It was this patriarchal type of perspective and mindset, and it's not right. And so, So I should be, as a father, actively working with my boys to say, do better, do better, do better, because the world needs you, and the world is counting on you to do better than what you've seen and what we've done in the past.
Yeah, and can I just add to that? Like, I think we need to go beyond the thoughts of chivalry. I want to play that out as well, because like there are some who feel like, well, when it comes to being, let's teach our boys to be chivalrous, and it's like, opening the doors for women and all that jazz. I'm for me personally, I'm talking about going beyond that.
Yeah,
like with our boys, like this. We were created. I believe that we were created in the image of God, and when we are treating what God has created with such disrespect and with such disregard, like, it's basically looking over Michelangelo's like shoulder and saying, "Oh, this painting sucks." You know what I mean? And like, that's what we're doing with God. To God, when we're disrespecting that which He has created.
Yeah.
Like, and we have to change. And so it's not just this idea of, oh, well, I got to open up doors for women. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we as men need to have more respect, and we need to teach our boys to treat women correctly, like the beings that God has created, just like He created us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is on the same lines of where I would go with my kids when it comes to race, when it comes to nationality, when it comes to the different shapes and sizes that God has created us in. Look, like, Jesus is for humankind flourishing, and when we're holding it back, oh man, we're not doing well. And so with my kids, I want to teach them, like, to always be looking for ways to help humankind thrive.
Yeah.
And one way that we could do that is teaching, especially our boys, to love and to, like, uphold the women around them, whether they're a family or not. We need to love them, and we need to uphold them correctly.
Yeah. I agree with all that you said. This is way bigger than just, as we've said, than just women. It is how we as men treat the people around us, seeing them as creations of the Creator, and affirming who they are, regardless of what they look like, what they believe, how they talk, whether they agree with us or not. It's affirming them and recognizing the divine in them, beyond just the exterior that so often gets our attention. I guess maybe another way to say it is, using specifically women. Men obviously are very visually attracted, but there's so much more to a woman than the appearance. And so for us to recognize that, affirm that in other women, teach our sons that there's more than just the physical appearance, that we really could not aim high enough, in that regard to make a positive impact. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
So I want to take a different angle too on this, because there's a part of me that's also concerned by these types of events. Back to this article here, I think of this as a pendulum, and the pendulum swung way too far toward male domination and power and aggression. And now it's starting to swing well toward the other way, almost to the point of, we don't need men. If men are going to behave this badly, then we don't need them, and we'll just cut them out. And there's an element of this that is politically correct right now. There's an element that is a significant reaction a pushback, as we've said. Women have had enough. But if men don't get it together, we will probably continue to migrate culturally toward men are irrelevant. They're just dumb, brute beasts, only motivated by food, beer, and sex, and we don't need them. And oh, by the way, science and medicine has maybe allowed us to recreate and procreate without, without a husband or a boyfriend or whatever. You could carry this on and on and on. But that's my concern, that if we don't arrest the swing of the pendulum by improving our behavior, culturally, men will become less and less relevant because our behavior just doesn't warrant being relevant. I don't know that I said that quite right, but that's part of my concern in reading this article.
Yeah, and I think the organizer one of the organizers of the festival, I was appreciative. Like she said, I'm not trying to lean towards. I forgot the word she used, so excuse me if I can't remember. But it was dealing with like females only, like world. And so she's not, she was like, I'm not leaning that way. And I appreciate that, because I wouldn't agree with all male world. And I wouldn't agree with all female world. I think that God created both, and that we share this planet, and we are called to be in community together, in healthy ways. And so I would hate for it to swing like completely the opposite way. Because I think we lose out on things. We lose out on one relationship. And I'm not talking sexual. I'm just talking about relationship. Mm-hmm. I think everyone brings something different to community. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. You bring something different to community, but part of that is your makeup, like who you are as a person. You bring that to the table. So delete all males, and there's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
just like if we deleted all females, we would have a problem.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And the relevance. Man, dude, like both sexes are relevant. You know what I mean? And so like one of the issues that we have today is that we're a male like dominant society, and that stinks. That really does stink. And as you were saying, Mark, I hope, like my thing is to teach my son and the boys that I come in contact with, my fellow peers, and even those above me, but I'm looking at to the younger generation, so that when I die and leave this planet, that they pick up the mantle and they treat women better than my generation and the generations before did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, dude, I hope that we don't get to a place where it's all female dominated world, because honestly, it'll be the same problem.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It'll be the same problem. And we don't, like, there has to be this balance, and I think we can find that. And this is where I think Jesus is so important. I believe the gospel is so important. I think the cross is so important, because this brokenness of our world, like this too, Jesus died for, and he can make whole, and I think we are seeing like glimpses of the kingdom at places. I honestly, even at this place, this music festival, there is a glimpse of it for me. I do see what you're saying too, is oh man, the pendulum is swinging the whole, it's going to continue. It could continue to swing the whole other way, but I also see a glimpse of, man, there was peace there. Like there was peace within females, like there, and so I could see the kingdom like moving there. But I think it's bigger than that. I think the Lord has wholeness coming from all sorts of ways. I see it in churches where women are leading and where women are becoming pastors, and I see, and those who are listening can have different views than I do, and I get that. But I'm seeing like differences, like where people are raising women's salaries to equal the men in their in their businesses,
right.
saying like, you know what, we don't want to make it seem like women are beneath men. It's equal pay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing glimpses of stuff. I'm seeing like, even, depending on how you want to look at the Me Too movement, it started out with women like saying enough is enough, and also men coming alongside and saying, you're absolutely right.
That's
How
right.
can I help push this through to make sure that you get justice?
Yeah.
That to me is a sign of God's kingdom. That to me is a sign of the healing of Jesus breaking in because of what he did on the cross. And I hope there's more. I really do, and I hope there's more, and there's room for more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're going to need. We're going to need, in order for the pendulum not to swing either way too far and to be balanced, we're going to need the healing power of Jesus. We really are.
The example of Jesus that you bring into this is pretty countercultural. If you think about all the interactions he had with women, marginalized women, prostitutes, widows, those without a place in that society because they weren't attached to a man. So just think about that for a second, right?
Yeah.
He chose them and he interacted with them and he honored them in a way that he honored them in even above some of his own disciples. I'm just thinking about upon the resurrection, who did he appear to first?
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Right. It was a woman. It was a friend. And so just the message that he sends, and here we are 2,000 years later, and we're still learning this message. We're still wrestling with how to apply that, how to see beyond, as Paul said, see beyond gender, to see beyond Jew versus Greek, to see beyond that and really just to see people. That's the big vision. That's the kingdom, I guess, that we should be about.
Yeah, man, absolutely, 100%. And I'm for that kingdom, man. I am for it, and I want to see it happen, man.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Dude, I'm glad you pulled this out to talk about. I know that we are both, if you're listening, we were both like, as we were talking, should we talk about this? Should we not? This is kind of iffy. I think it was refreshing. It was refreshing for me, at least, to hear your thoughts and to be able to share mine, when it comes to this hot topic and button of our culture today.
It's now. And we have the opportunity to seize this moment as a learning experience, as a teaching tool, as a reflection experience and opportunity. We have this opportunity because women have said enough. And boy, if we let the opportunity go to waste, it will be unfortunate. It really will.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, brother.
Well, Mark,
dude,
thank you, man.
As always.
Another good one. If you're listening, Mark is. You always end with a great thing. If people are listening, and you want to give us feedback, you can always hit us back up. What's that email, Mark?
It is feedback@thenextmanup.com.
Yes. Hit us up with questions, thoughts. We'd love to hear what people are thinking out there. And you know what, on this one as well as any other, if there are any women who are listening, please give us your thoughts as well, especially on this topic that we chose to speak about on today.
Agree. Sounds good.
All right, man. Dude, you rock, bro.
You do too, buddy.
Later.
Yeah, thanks, man. Adios.
All right, peace.
Hey, listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.